Mary Kay today is brought to us by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers to FanDuel can bet just $5. And if that $5 bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app however you choose. So are you ready to play? If you are, download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. That is FanDuel.com/UCSS to place your first $5 bet.
Hey, Mary Kay, how are you? How was your trip? Any fun? Anything crazy happen on the trip back and forth?
No, nothing really crazy happened at all. I did get to have some fun there because my daughter came over and she spent some of the time there with me. So I got to go out with her and her friends a couple of times. And then one night we did stop at the Browns backers event because Joe Thomas was there and Joe Hayden and Andrew Hawkins and some of those guys. So I wanted to catch up with some of my old friends there. So that was fun for a few minutes. So anyways, yeah, it was a good trip except for the game.
Except for the game. That was cool. We were just talking about it. I don't know how much you heard, but obviously Jerry Judy's having a miserable season so far this year. He had a very nice season last year. Tyvus, out of the blue, kind of brought up a great point. He thought that Jerry Judy needs to be in the slot a lot more, and he thought, without even knowing the numbers, that Jerry Judy was in the slot a lot less this year, and he's absolutely right because Mike just looked up the numbers. He averaged being in the slot 1 out of 33% of the time last year, and this year it's 35%, I think, and this year it's been 16%. Obviously, there's been drops, but maybe that's a factor too. Why is it, do you think, that they've changed where they're putting him on the field?
It's a good question and something to definitely explore. Yeah. And I don't know if that would help him or not. I don't know what really is kind of going on with Jerry Judy this year. I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that they had to get the ball from 4 different quarterbacks throughout the quarterback competition. I don't know if it's because right now they don't have another bona fide number 2 quarterback, and therefore he's getting more attention. And and he's also having to catch more contested balls, and that's really not his forte. His forte is to, run double moves and different things and find out how to get open in any way he possibly can. That's his forte, as a route runner, not as a contested catch guy. It's really hard to say. When Joe was in there, the ball was arriving a little bit late at times because Joe was under so much pressure. And sometimes he didn't even know where the ball was going when he threw it because he was flat on his back. And so I think Jerry's just off. I think sometimes, just like a kicker can be, you get out into a little bit of a slump and it's hard to dig your way out of it. But he has to dig out of it. He definitely has to dig out of it because they need him. And again, it's not helping that Ced Tillman is not on the field right now and that the other guys aren't really able to produce as much as they need them to. The 3 wide receivers that had a thrown ball to them on Sunday caught a total of 5 passes. 3 wide receivers, 5 catches, right? I mean, that's it. So it was 2 of 7 for Bond. It was 2 of 5 for Jerry. And then I think it was 1 catch on 1 target for Jamari Thrash. And then, of course, he did not get out of bounds on that. So they're just not getting what they need right now from their wide receiver core. And I don't know what they can do about it. They're going to have to get creative because if you start stacking the box, then before you know it, just like happened in the 4th quarter of this football game, Quinshon Judkins is not going to be able to make those yards very long. You need to be able to keep that defense stretched out a little bit to loosen up that box.
I wanted to ask you about the offensive line. I've been trying to figure out why Kevin's play calling has been what it is, and I think that I'm trying to see if it's the offensive line. Obviously, the protection has been great with Joe Flacco back there, even with Dillon Gabriel. Do you think that is the reason why we don't push the ball down the field is because they don't have time to throw the ball down the field?
Well, I don't know if that's really the case or not, or is it the fact that they are trying so hard not to throw interceptions? Because when I read over Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings coach, when I read over his transcripts the other day from his post-game interview, I mean, they certainly had problems. I wrote a whole column about it today. They had 4 offensive linemen that were backups by the fourth quarter of that game. Most of the game, they had 3 backup offensive linemen, a brand new center who had never started before and never snapped the ball, had never started at center before. So they had major issues, and I thought Kevin O'Connell did a fantastic job of scheming it up so that Carson could just go out there and play fast and loose and strong. And that's what Kevin O'Connell told him to do. He said, just trust me, and go out and do your thing. And so Carson Wentz went out there and played with confidence on that last drive, that 10-play, 80-yard drive, and he didn't worry so much about what was going on. Now that the Browns have Dillon Gabriel in there, now that they have film on him for 1 week, they see what he can do, they can see what his arm strength is, they can see where he wants to go with the ball and how he handles certain situations. Now they have some data. Now they have some live action data. He didn't have much of that in the preseason. They had plenty of college tape on him, but they didn't have a lot of, okay, what can this young man do in a football game? Now that they have that, now they've got to draw it up. They've got to go back to the drawing board. They have to find a way to get a passing game. It can be 3 tight ends. I don't care what it is. Whatever they have to do, they have to find their passing game, or the running game is going to go south too.
Mary Kay, what did you think about the initial, game overall for Dillon Gabriel? What are some things you like, or some things that you want him to improve on getting ready to go against Pittsburgh?
Poise, confidence, moxie, mobility. I think he showed all of the things that we thought he was going to show. But my reigning thought, I kept thinking, it's a whole lot better to look good as a quarterback when you're throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, right? It's a whole lot better to look easier with those guys. So I think that's something that the Browns are really going to have to take a look at, what they're doing here with their wide receiver core. And they're going to have to, I think, as they move forward, you have to have star receivers on your football team. That's the name of the game today.
There you go.
That's what you've got to do. I mean, look how Baker Mayfield is doing down there because of his receiving core and the amazing rookie that he's got the ball to right now. So you have to have that. And the number one receiver that the Cleveland Browns have right now is Jerry Judy. And for whatever reason, he's not cutting it at the moment. Hopefully for everybody, he'll kind of get it together. Said Tillman is on injured reserve. But I thought that Dillon did okay with what he had to work with, but I think he would have been much better in the fourth quarter when the chips were down and the game was on the line if he had more weapons. And I don't know what they're going to do about that going forward.
Mary Kay, we spent a lot of time yesterday and a little bit at the beginning of today's show talking about Kevin Stefanski and how he's kind of operated and molded some of these younger quarterbacks. And the question we asked was whether or not his scheme was kind of failing the quarterbacks. I'm just curious on your 2 cents on that. Is some of the criticism of Stefanski that he has received over the last couple of weeks fair in your mind, or is it kind of out of bounds?
Well, we haven't seen much of the rookie quarterbacks yet, obviously, in a football game. We have 1 game of Dillon. So let's give it a little bit of a larger sample size before we draw any sweeping conclusions on what we think that he can do with this young quarterback. And then, of course, all of them have different skill sets. So, Dillon does everything well and above average, but maybe nothing super extraordinary. So, this is, we're going to have to see what Kevin does with him, and we're also going to have to see what defensive coordinators start to take away from him. Are they going to start trying to hem him in and bat down passes? Is he going to be able to get out and get out, in the field a little bit and run around and make some off-schedule plays and avoid those sacks? So I don't think we can say yet how Kevin Stefanski is developing Dillon until we see him for 3 more games. But they've got to find a better passing game. They've got to scheme up a better passing game somehow. Because nobody's going to look good if it's like this. Nobody's going to look good if the receivers aren't catching the ball or if the ball's, getting there late or whatever. It was a snappier game. It was a more up-tempo game. It had movement. All those things were good. Now they have to find some completions. They have to find more completions.
Mary Kay, Quinshon Judkins looks like he may be one of the best backs in the league for years to come.
Go Bucks.
I mean, he just absolutely looks like he looks unstoppable at times. And think about the offensive line he's running behind is not that good. I guess is like how far can he take us this year? This is the NFL. It's a different league than it was 20 years ago where you could actually have a running back, carry the football 30-something times a game. It's a different deal now offensively. Can the Browns rely on him as much as they have for the rest of the year?
Well, once again, they have to get a passing game. They have to crank up a passing game, or else you're just going to get that stacked box. And they will take him away. And that's what you saw happen in the fourth quarter of this football game. And that's what you don't want to see going forward. So maybe they do need to get Dave Njoku involved more. Maybe you do need to get Harold Fannin involved a little bit more in the passing game. Whatever they have to do, you want to keep things viable and relevant so that you can keep handing the ball to Quinshon Judkins, because he's pretty amazing. I think that he is going to be someone that can step in here and ease the loss of Nick Chubb and really do a nice job of helping to replace Nick Chubb, who's just left a gaping hole on this football team, right? I mean, everybody knows how the world feels about Nick Chubb, but boy, there are so many great qualities about Quinshon Judkins that I think that he's going to represent very, very well both Ohio State, the Browns, whatever you want to say. Yeah. I mean, he's tough. He's big. You guys can probably see there in that clip. I mean, he's just got these, mammoth legs. I mean, it was so much power, and he's a patient runner. I mean, he does a really nice job of finding the hole and making the cuts, and so I think he's going to be really, really good. But they have to help him too. I mean, this is a young team that we're talking about here. You're looking at the future of the Cleveland Browns right now when you see Quinshon and you see Harold Fannin.
I'm choking on
you
water.
almost killed Bull with that answer.
Bull's like choking on his water right
I
now.
just spit out my water. I'm sorry, Mary Kay.
I'm sorry. I didn't
I'm sorry.
Are you
I
okay?
apologize.
do that to you.
No, it wasn't anything you did. I just coughed while I was drinking water, and I spit it all over
And
myself.
I turned around, it was a fountain over here. I said,
my
what the
God.
heck is going on?
I apologize for
Don't get that
interrupting
on
you.
my shoes.
Oh my God.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
But you guys know.
Next question, since I screwed you up.
No, that's
The offensive line going forward, not only this season, but certainly going forward to next year, it's a 5-alarm fire with this offensive line. You don't have a single starter for next year. Are the Browns, they have really blown it here. None of the guys they've drafted have looked any good at the position. I mean, we all know that they need a quarterback, obviously, but I don't know that they have anybody to protect them. Even if they do, get a good one.
Well, first of all, that's one of the reasons why they almost had to go to Dillon Gabriel, because Joe Flacco was kind of a sitting duck back there with the tackle issues that they're having. And it's much better to have Dillon Gabriel back there zipping around and slipping and sliding away from trouble and running and doing all the things that he can do with his legs. So that's a major reason why they did what they had to do. But once again, I don't know if you can be using this as an excuse right now, because look at what the Vikings had to do yesterday. They played with 3 of their starters. By the time they got to the fourth quarter, they also had Christian Darrisaw out of the football game, their premier starting left tackle. And they were able to get the job done. They marched 80 yards in 10 plays on the Cleveland Browns with a makeshift offensive line. So you have to have good backups. You have to have good depth. And I think that once these guys start to work together a little bit better with Dillon, and he learns them and they figure it out a little bit with each other, that maybe they won't look as, I don't want to say bad, because I don't think it's been as bad as it seems. Maybe they will look better than they did with a quarterback. So let's see how it goes over the next few weeks.
It's a good point, because the Vikings offensive line did pretty good, especially considering who they're going up against on this Browns D-line. With all these backups, they did pretty well. I think it's good. And I also wonder if the left tackle for the Browns is just so bad that it's kind of dragging everybody else further down. Could that be a little bit?
You know what? When you have someone that is that inexperienced, of course, you have to give them chipping help, and you have to do whatever you can possibly do. And there are a lot of penalties going on the offensive line right now. So they do have to get that settled down. They do definitely have to do that. But once again, I think with Dillon's ability to escape some of the trouble, I think that'll be a little bit better. And he's also going to have to get rid of the ball quickly and things like that. But it is time to restock that offensive line and to really start thinking about how they want to do that.
Mary Kay, I'm kind of nervous about this one in Pittsburgh. We've seen a lot of coaches, whether it's Hugh Jackson or the situation a couple years with Baker. He said, man, they didn't even block. How you leave T.J. Watt one-on-one? The Steelers at home, when the Browns are having trouble on offense, I've seen a lot of those games. How did the Cleveland Browns come in this game and not have the Steelers like avalanche like usually happens when you're struggling young quarterbacks? Because we didn't see Colt McCoy struggle out there. We didn't see all of the other young guys come out there and still do it. What do the Browns need to do to kind of, hold that at bay?
Well, the Steelers are going to be licking their chops to go against a rookie quarterback in their own house. Of course, I'm sure they're really, really looking forward to that. And that's why I think it's great that Dillon has been able to show the poise that he has been able to, and the confidence. I think that really was evident in this past game, and he's going to need it in Acrisure Stadium on Sunday. There's no question about that. But I think what's going to happen is they're going to have to find a way to get the ball to David Njoku, get the ball to Harold Fannin. If Jerry Judy's not going well right now, and I remember right before the Detroit game that Joe Flacco said, our offense goes as Jerry Judy goes. Well, guess what? Guess how that's going right now. Right? I mean, I think they almost have to pretend or prepare for this game like he's not in it. Like, what would we do if we didn't have Jerry at all? And then go from there and see what you're going to come up with. Because if you have to put 3 tight ends out there like Bill Belichick did one year, or whatever you have to do to get the job done, that's what they have to do. Because they can't, as I mentioned before, try to just think that your rookie running back is going to be able to do the job all by himself if you don't have a passing game to loosen up that box. It's just not going to work, especially against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are great against the run. So they've got to find a short passing game. They've got to get Dillon moving around even more now that they know what he can do. They've got to get him out on the perimeter a little bit, and they've got to get the ball into the hands of some of their playmakers that can get some yards after a catch. They've got to move the chains in the passing game so that Quinshon can do his thing and then stay really fresh for the fourth quarter and break off some long runs. But this is going to be a tough football game.
Great insight, Mary Kay, as always. Thank you. Sorry I spit up all over myself like a 3-year-old in the middle of the interview. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you, Mary Kay.
Appreciate it.